Have you ever missed an angled shot and then wondered why?
You might think that you are aiming the shot correctly and delivering the shot correctly, but if you do not know this, the chances are you are not aiming the shot correctly.
Tell me in the comments why you think you miss, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so speaking about angled cut shots, let's take this tee exercise for example. So I've set up a shot here where we want to play this second red along the tee. And this is a great example because one of the reasons that we play the tee exercise is to get used to these angled cut shots. Now if I want to play this second red here and get low on the pink, I'm going to need to play a topspin shot on and off the cushion to leave the white in this area here. What tends to happen on a shot like this when you play an angled cut with topspin, once the cue ball makes contact with the object ball, the topspin will throw the object ball offline slightly. So I always remember this as topspin too thin, because when you play an angled cut like this with topspin, it will thinnen the shot. In order to compensate for this throw, what you need to do is play it slightly thicker than what you would think to get the ball on the intended line, the object ball down the intended line, which more often than not, you're going to want that to be center pocket striking. And likewise, if I wanted to play stun, like quite a firm stun, or screw on this angled pot, this time I've set up a high black. What tends to happen here, when the cue ball makes contact with the object ball, it tends to throw the object ball on a slightly thicker angle. So what you need to do in this situation, when you're applying a fairly firm stun or screw, is to aim slightly thinner on the object ball, and I mean slightly than what you would usually do, to make up for that throw, to compensate for that object ball deflection and send the object ball down the path which you intend to send it down, which more often than not will be the center of the pocket. Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is play this second red here with topspin and bounce on and off the cushion to leave a low pink. And I want to show you how I alter my aiming to compensate for the throw of the topspin when it hits the object ball and thins the angle of the object ball. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to play the shot plain ball and I'm aiming for center pocket. I'm not going to apply any topspin. So let's give that a try. Okay, so I've set the same shot up again. This time I'm going to play with topspin. And remember, topspin too thin, so I'm going to aim slightly thicker than what I would usually aim to compensate for the throw of the topspin. And I'm going to aim slightly to my right of center pocket to compensate for that throw of the topspin. And sometimes actually when you're watching other players play these shots who don't know about this, sometimes you can predict how and why they're going to miss. Because they just don't know to compensate for that throw of the topspin or the stun screw. But anyway, in this case, we'll play a topspin shot and we'll play it slightly to the right of center pocket, as I just said, to compensate for the throw of the topspin when that hits the object ball. And as you can see, the red went right down the center of the pocket, even though I was aiming slightly, and I say slightly, to the right of the pocket. Now here's another very common topspin shot that crops up very often when you're on a colour clearance, more often than not. You've landed slightly high on this blue and you want to apply topspin to come on and off the cushion to leave yourself a shot on the pink. Okay, now more often than not, you'll see people, if they're going to miss this, they'll miss it thin because they'll aim for centre pocket with topspin and they'll hit it quite firmly. And that's what tends to happen. They'll tend to overcut it because the topspin has thrown the blue offline. So to compensate for this common problem, rather than aim in centre pocket here, I'll aim slightly thicker to make up for the throw of the topspin, which thinnens the angle once it makes contact with the blue. And I'm looking to bounce the white on and off the cushion to leave a shot on the pink. So as you can see from that shot there, if anything, I aimed too thick because the blue went into the very left part of this pocket. If you're not careful, it is easy for this to get in your head. Don't allow this to get in your head. All you want to do is aim slightly thicker on the topspin shots. So centre pocket's there, slightly thicker there. I'm going to try and aim not as thick this time and try and get closer to the centre pocket. And I'm looking to bounce the white on and off this cushion with the pink. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. The blue was close enough to the centre pocket to compensate for the throw of the topspin. Okay, let's move on to stuns and screws. Now, I'm going to play a stun on this high black. First of all, I'm going to play it plain ball, so you can see where I'm aiming. I'm aiming centre pocket, okay? Plain ball, centre pocket. So okay, so I've set the same shot up again, and this time I'm going to play it with quite a firm stun. Remember what I was saying before, if you play an angled cut or an angled shot with a firm stun or a screw back, what tends to happen is it thickens the shot up, so you actually have to aim thinner, slightly thinner than what you would usually aim to compensate for the throw of the stun or the screw once the cue ball makes contact with the object ball. So if on the previous shot I aimed centre pocket, which was around about here, I'm going to aim slightly thinner to compensate for the stun. So let's give that a try. Okay, so as you can see, the black actually went down centre pocket, and I was aiming to the right of this pocket. I was aiming thinner than what I would usually aim. Okay, so I've set myself up an angled shot on this yellow, and this time I want to play this with screw back, and I want to screw the white somewhere towards the black area. Now, just to reiterate, when you're playing an angled shot with screw back, it's going to thicken the shot up, so you need to aim slightly thinner to compensate for the throw of the screw back. So if centre pocket's there, I'll probably be aiming here with the screw back to compensate for the throw of the cue ball. So two things to remember with these angled shots. The first thing is, don't allow it to get into your head. It's only a slight deflection from the object ball when the cue ball hits the object ball with topspin or stun or screw. Second thing I would say to remember is this principle applies all over the table. So for any angled shots that you're playing firmly and confidently, you're giving it a positive strike, these rules apply all over the snooker table on angled shots when you're playing top spins, stuns and screws. It's not to say that if you don't do this on angled shots that you're always going to miss, but certainly if you don't do this on angled shots, you are going to miss some of those shots when you're applying top spin, stun and screw if you don't allow for that deflection. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Cheers.